Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Mike to Mine, and we're going to explore the development of trap music in China. So, we're not just talking about the influence, we're talking about transmission processing here. And first of all, let me talk about how American trap, first developed by artists like T.I., Gucci Mane, and later refined by producers like Metro Boomin, which became the sonic backbone of Chinese trap, and how that specific genre that is currently popular in America developed and transmitted into Sichuan province in China, a city called Chengdu, where the rappers there turned that imported blueprint into something dialect-driven, rhythmically unique, and globally exportable. So let's break it down for you. First of all, we need to understand what trap really is. And trap isn't just a genre, it's an architecture. There are key elements that included in trap music. First of all, 808 sub bass, triplet hi-hats, and the minimal melodies, all the space in the mix, and the melodic flows with heavy bounce. By the 2010s, artists like Future and Young Thug turned trap into something elastic, like almost vocal jazz over 808s. And the key innovation here is flow flexibility. Well, trap isn't bar by bar rigid like boom bap rap. It's more like pocket based. You write rhythm clusters. And that flexibility is crucial to understanding why Sichuanese dialect, which is the dialect that everybody in this Chengdu city speak in China, and how that dialect works so well with the combination with trap music. All right, Chinese hip hop in the early 2000s leaned more toward boom bap and lyrical realism, but by the early 2010s, internet acceleration changed everything. Chengdu youth weren't discovering outdated rap, they were listening to contemporary Atlantic trap in real time. And they began to mix the personal style of Lil Uzi Vert and something like Juice World, and also all we know, the YSL, for example, Young Thug. And so from that Chengdu ecosystem, the higher brothers emerged. Mas Wei, No No, DZ No, and Sai P. These group these members built underground buzz in Chengdu and connected with 88 Rising, a US to Asia music platform that is pretty well known in Asia. And they also dropped internationally distributed projects. They toured North America and Europe and became global ambassadors of Chinese trap, not only as an ambassadors but also symbolism of Chinese trap. Their sound are pretty much like Atlanta style type beats, and they also mixed Mandarin, Chinese, and English, a bit of everything into their music. And they are also sounds really similar to US trap, especially Atlanta trap. And the cultural references rooted in Chinese internet culture also played a big role in their composing of their own music. So they weren't just copying Atlanta, they were speaking Atlanta's rhythm in a Sichuan accent.
Reason why I say higher brothers, they kind of um all right, now let me all right, now let me tell you why do I think higher brothers they only kind of inspired by American trap, but they didn't imitate it and they didn't copy it. First of all, let's talk about word pacing. Mandarin is relatively syllable timed and tonal, which can make rapid fire trap flows feel slightly rigid. But Sichuanese, on the other hand, has more flexible phonetics and softer tonal constraints, allowing the rappers to stretch, compress, and bounce syllables more naturally across the beat. And that creates a groove closer to English trap patterns. Now compare that to English trap flow. English is stressed timed, meaning certain syllables are emphasized while others are reduced. This gives trap music its signature bounce, the triplet flows, simple syncopation, and rhythmic elasticity. And Chengdu rappers mimic this by using Sichuanese pronunciation to recreate the similar stress patterns, even within a tonal language environment. Then comes the cultural fusion. Groups Groups like Higher Brothers embedded local slang, humor, and Chengdu lifestyle into their type beats. This result isn't just about imitation, it's more like adaptation. You'll hear references to local food, to the street culture, and to the way how Chengdu people spend their life in this city, and the regional identity layered over 808s and he had typical of American trap. So let's take in a good example for this. Um, it's being in parts of made in China when Sichuanese or original inflection slips into the delivery. Syllables get compressed or stretched more freely, and we see that the consonants soften, making transitions between words smoother. And the flow starts to match the triplet bounce typical of trap. 老总把你叫醒 Made in China 牙膏牙刷上面挤 Made in China 把早餐放进陶瓷碗 Made in China 擦唇膏出门打起伞 Made in China 坐在公司里旋转8个亿360度速洗累积杠 So this creates something closer to English-style rhythmic flexibility, even though the base language is also in Chinese. So instead of sounding like a direct translation of trap, it feels native to the heat. It feels native to the beat. And culturally, it goes even deeper. The lyrics reference Chinese manufacturing and identity, and the delivery also makes this global trap aesthetics with local attitude. So here's the key. They are not just imitating American trap, they're proving that we are adapting the rhythmic logic using the Sichuanese as a tool instead of just copy everything from American trap. So that's why Higher Brothers are always significant when you're talking about development of Chinese trap history.